Hello, hello. Please come in, come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Have a seat. We'll put a movie on for you. This is Movies at Grandma's House, where we look at the movies from the past to see if they're still good today. And I'm your host, Isaac, but my dentist calls me Rob. And who's with me to experience Sonic the Hedgehog on the big screen?
This is Seth. Blue alien hedgehogs are people too.
Very nice. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing well today. How are you?
I am doing great. This is just, I'm still reeling from, we just considered peak Pixar. We're now in season 3. That's what we consider this to be. How are you feeling about that?
It blows my mind that we've covered as many as we have, and in this time that we have done it in. It just blows my mind. I love what we've done so far and can't wait to move forward as well.
Yes, I'm just pumped. I can't wait because we're making this the month of December Sonic month. We're starting with the first movie, and we're so excited for the third movie. It is coming out in December. So what better way to kick off season 3 than to consider this series? I'm so excited for it. But before we jump right into it, just a reminder, be sure you click that subscribe button, click that notify bell so you'll be up to date with all things Movies at Grandma's House. And as a friendly reminder, if you haven't seen this movie, please stop what you're doing. Go watch it now. It is on Paramount Plus. Yes, if you have that, it is free to stream. Or you can go get it on DVD, Blu-ray, all that good stuff. So go watch it. Come on back. We're going to have a fun time considering the movie Sonic the Hedgehog. This was released back on January 25th. And it was also released later on. That was a limited release, but it was also released in February 2020. We'll get into that because 2020 was kind of a historical year, so we'll kind of maybe play into that as we discuss. But the budget for this movie was 85 to 90 million. Doesn't give it exact, but it's in that range. The box office, though, it was 320 million. So this was a pretty good hit for Paramount there. And just kind of glancing around, looking at some reviews, it's pretty favorable for the most part. It's got about 6.5 on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes is 64%. Metacritic, it's more like 47%. So overall, pretty good on the review side of things. But this was just a few years ago, one of our newer movies that we've considered. I'm interested to hear from you then. What are some memories that you have with this movie?
So before the podcast review, I'd never seen this, which is surprising because I love the games and cartoons so much.
That's surprising. Well, I didn't go and see this in the theaters. As I talked about, 2020, we had, COVID. That was kind of the thing going around. So I didn't see this in the theaters. However, it did come out streaming about a year or so later, somewhere in there, maybe even 6 months later. It's hard for me. That's all a blur from like 2020 to 2022. But I recall seeing it on streaming, watched it with my kids, had an absolute blast just seeing Sonic the Hedgehog on the big screen and seeing my kids enjoy it. They're big Sonic fans. They love the games. There's all kinds of spin-off TV shows, that thing. So watching it for the first time was just really cool. I just remember like, this is awesome. This is really neat. But with that in mind, you didn't see it before. I'm interested to hear though, what were some of your expectations upon watching this?
So for expectations, I had seen the trailer. It looked funny, so I planned to laugh. I know the cast was good, so I figured it had to be a pretty good movie.
Right on. I saw it, like I said, a few years ago, but I was like, it's been a while. It was one of those things where it kind of worked out where I could kind of come back to it with a fresh take. So I was excited to actually come back to this one for how much I enjoyed watching it the first time. That was kind of my expectations too. I was ready to laugh, just have a good time with it, but interested to see if maybe I looked at it from a different perspective. So let's jump right into it. And since this is a newer movie, I don't think we're going to get this on VHS. So instead, we're going to take the remote, we're going to turn on our streaming service, Paramount Plus, and press play.
From the planet Mobius, Sonic the Hedgehog, a super speedy blue character, one day is transported to Earth, where he grows up alone, but then becomes attached to a family. Evil Dr. Robotnik wants to perform experiments on him and begins his search for Sonic. With a lot of laughs and entertainment, we take quite a trip, even battling a mad genius in this fun family movie.
Very nice. So there's the plot of Sonic the Hedgehog. And I'm interested to hear, what were some of your first impressions then going and watching this for the first time?
So, having not seen this, I thought that the intro was very dark, darker than I expected. A lot was said in the introduction of this movie, if you're paying attention. So, I thought that was kind of cool that they did a lot of groundwork as far as getting the picture ready for you. I love the rings. Like, that plays a huge part in the movie. Very cool. Very cool.
I agree. It kind of was a different intro, and I was curious about that going into, all right, they're adapting this video game. This is a fictional character. How are they going to make it real life? Because you mentioned the trailers. It was I go back to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I know there's been numerous movies like that, but I just always picture that style, real life with the animation. So I was thinking to myself, how are they going to do this? So it kind of gives a different origin story for Sonic, but it works. I think it works well. And I was with you. I like what they did with the rings. They are just, you collect these rings. They kind of give you the power for Sonic, but if you get hit, you lose them all. So that was kind of your health in the games. And this one, it's like a portal that he's able to go anywhere that he thinks of. So it's a cool little touch. I like that they went with that approach with the plot. And it doesn't try to get too cute. I think the plot is very straightforward. It's just, Sonic is this alien that they refer to. I think that's why it works so well. I think in real life, we'd probably think that's an alien if we saw it running down the street of, Blur, something like that. But what really sticks out to me, my impressions too, is the characters. I mean, we're familiar with Sonic if you played the games, but I really liked, the supporting cast as much as I was a little worried, like, is the human element going to clash? I think it gelled really well, and especially for a kid's movie. Tom, he's kind of that main character with Sonic. He's the sheriff of the town. And I think he really has good lines in it. He just has this good chemistry with Sonic. What did you think about his character or other characters in the film?
Yeah, I really did like the character development and the characters. They gelled well together. They told the story very well. It moved it along quite well. I love the introduction of the characters, like each one bringing out like their own wonderful thing about the movie. Sonic was great. I love how they called him Donut Lord. That was cool. His family was great. Dr. Robotnik wasn't too over the top for me. I really enjoyed Dr. Robotnik, which I was worried about because the trailer looked a little over the top, but the actual movie didn't give me that impression.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
I completely agree with you. I was kind of worried because Jim Carrey, I like a lot of stuff he's in. He's just hilarious. He's maybe hit or miss with me sometimes where, like you said, he can be over the top. And it's like, well, maybe that's not something that works. I never pictured Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. So
no,
it was definitely okay, is this going to be a little too much? But he steals the show in a good way. It's a different Jim Carrey character. It's Dr. Robotnik, but I don't know. It just works so well. Is that's kind of how you felt? He works so well with Sonic as like that villain. I thought
it wasn't too much. It wasn't over the top. It was just right, and it I guess it kind of tied the lines between what's not reality and what, you know what I mean, like and video game. It kind of you felt for the way they were producing it. It was just well done. I can't really say anything bad about the Robotnik character.
Yeah. and bringing the human element, like it's a video game, so it's obviously fiction and exaggerated. But I remember they would say that Dr. Robotnik had a 300 IQ, and that means you're top at the very top smart. You're just, and they play that up. That's what's funny. There's so many quotes about how smart he is, and he has that I'm smarter than everybody else, and that's what makes his character so great. And Jim Carrey plays that so well. But it also makes it realistic that if a person really had this 300 IQ and the personality that Robotnik does, he would have like those robots. He'd have the technology on his side. That's what make him menacing. Because that was what I was also worried about. Like, are they going to take away a lot of what makes Robotnik about his intelligence? And it's like, no, I think they did a good job. You know, it's still its own thing. You're going to have to come out of the video game world because that's very much fiction. That's very much over the top at times. But this, I was just really impressed. I can't get over that. And Jim Carrey, if not the best, one of the best parts of this film, I would say. I
Yeah.
would make that argument. But there's so much more I like about this movie too. The characters. What did you think about the voice actor for Sonic? Do you think they did a good job on the casting with that?
Is it Ben Schwartz? Is that who it was?
Yeah.
He's a very funny person, and I when I had started the movie, I had forgot it was him, and I was like, "Who is that? Who is that voice?" I had to look it up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that fits. That's good." And he's really got a lot of inflection in his voice. Handles the different crazy lines that he has to say really well. I liked it a lot. I mean, that was really good.
Yeah. I played the games, and once Sonic got the 3D, there was an actual voice for Sonic because
Mm-hmm.
Sonic originated back on, the Genesis that didn't really have dialogue, but he had that edge to him in the games. He's very much, and he
Yeah.
has that, but they dialed it back. I kind of like that a little bit. I think maybe some people were like, oh, why is he kind of more friendly? Because he was very much that, like, I'm the cool kid. He was supposed to be in competition to Mario. So Sega was like, well, we got to have an edge to him. And he has that in this movie. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I like how they dialed it back a little bit. This is a, kids movie, a family movie, whatever you want to call it. And it has those edgy, hey, I'm cool, but he's very relatable. He's approachable. I just like what they did. I was very impressed. I'll just say that word. I was very impressed with the approach they took. It wasn't straying too far away from the source material, but it made it its own at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with everything you said. It was well executed, is the word I'm thinking of. If I could just jump back real quick, I wanted to quickly say something about the plot.
Go for it.
I felt like the plot was different, but a good different.
Yeah.
It's like what you were saying. It stayed true to the video game experience, and I also like the twists and turns and the action as well. So it kept you kind of wondering what was going to be next. You know what I mean? And I like that. I read some reviews on my research, and they were like, "Well, I could tell where it was going," and I'm like, "Well, I couldn't." But I really liked the way they told the story. It progressed well.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'm happy with the approach they went with. It wasn't so predictable, but it wasn't like I'm going to throw every curveball and plot twists with it either. It's just an enjoyable plot, just something that you would expect from a Sonic the Hedgehog. He's adapting to the new environment. He's trying to live where, I'm on this earth because, like you mentioned at the beginning, his world got attacked. So it's more about seeing this character grow. In the video games, it's, you have this objective, you're trying to get these emeralds and stop Dr. Robotnik. And they kind of play it of, okay, he's this alien to people. He's this outcast. He's growing, trying to fit in. But then Robotnik kind of slides in that, okay, he works for the government and they're trying to find out what this hedgehog is. But then he becomes the villain. I really like that plot idea of it's not, here's Dr. Robotnik sitting in a castle going, ha 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 ha, I'm evil. It's like very subtle. And then you see that turn of like, now's my chance. Okay, now I'm going to try and take over. Cause you could tell those little hints as he's talking, like, my objective is not to work for the government. I want to take over the world and do this or that. But yeah, again, I'll go back to I was impressed with it. It worked very well. The plot, for what you would expect from a video game, I guess, it just slid right in there. It was a smooth transition, and it's just a fun ride. I think it's like almost a roller coaster, but in a fun way. It's not gonna
Yeah.
jerk you around too much either. So yeah, any other characters that kind of stick out to you that you wanted to touch on, or anything related to that?
Um, I really, I think, like you mentioned as well as like the background characters, the secondary characters, they did a really good job, like and taking them into the film and giving them light. You know what I mean? Like they shined a little bit, and I really liked that. I thought the dialogue was strong for those characters as well, and it just fit and it meshed well. So like the character all around, the characters were just really well put together for this one. They really spent their time. You could tell.
I agree. I like there's the agent, I think is Stone is his name. He's Robotnik's like right hand man kind of guy. Like he kind of assists him. And maybe that's why I really appreciated they went with Jim Carrey, because he has these different interactions with the characters. There's some kind of general or guy for the government. I forget his name, but he's very serious tone. And
Yeah,
Jim Carrey just bounces right off of him, still in that Robotnik character. But then he
yeah.
has this like, what was the quote? Agent Stone says, "Would you like a latte?" And he's just like, "Of course I want a latte. It's made by you." Like that kind of stuff I love. I just love the character interactions and the dialogue. Yeah, what did you think of the dialogue or the writing anyway?
I thought the dialogue was fantastic. It was very clever. Um, One of my favorite quotes is at the beginning of the film where the turtle is crossing the road and he goes, "Where's the fire?" That made me laugh so hard.
Yes. There's
Oh.
so many I mean it's a kids movie, so it can be silly, but I like the amount of silly. It's not too hard pressed. I mean, Sonic has a lot of those quotes. Like you said, there's that one. Calls Tom the donut lord, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's just a fun ride. I just really was surprised how fun this was, and I think it would have been a task to try and adapt a video game like Sonic the Hedgehog into the movie and make it feel like it did, I guess. And I guess the only controversy, this might be a fun fact. So if it goes in line with that, feel free to jump in. But the animation originally was going to be a lot different
Mhm.
for Sonic. And I'm so glad that it feels like the creators, the producers, they were very passionate about this movie because they listened to the fans. Is that a fun fact that you had about the animation?
Sort of. You're on the right track, but yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, go ahead with it because I'm interested to hear what you found.
Uh, so it's not exactly what you're saying, but the drawing by Crazy Carl resembles the meme of Sanic. And my nephew told me that. I didn't know that, and I had to look it up. I was like, just let me make sure that that's right. But and then when you watch it back, you're like, oh my goodness, he's right.
That's hilarious.
uh,
But yeah,
so
I
they
think,
embraced it. They embraced the humor of it and
yes.
worked with it and came out with a good product. You know what I mean? Like a finished final product. It was well
Yeah.
animated. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. They were very they didn't just want to say, we've got this name, we've got this brand of Sonic the Hedgehog. Anybody's going to go see it. They really wanted to make a good movie. And I really appreciate that. They didn't just say, well, tough. We're going to, we spent all this money. I don't know if you have that in front of you, but it was, I think, 5 to 10 million or so, if I'm not mistaken. They had to go back and reanimate Sonic
I
because
think I came across it, but I didn't note it. So I'm glad you brought that out.
yeah, you can correct me. Maybe we'll dig it up later, but it was something like it wasn't just here's a quick fix. I mean, they had to delay the movie. They had to put the money
Yeah.
back into it, but they wanted to do that. They heard from the fans in this backlash, so I have to commend them for that. Like that to me comes across in the film. Of this is a very passionate story, characters, all of that. It just fit so well. So I have to commend them. But as far as fun facts or anything else that you wanted to throw, what you got?
I'll rattle off three real quick. So while in production, movies have a different name, a different title than what it's called at release. During the production, it was called Casino Night after the Casino Night Zone level in the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 game.
Nice.
So I think that's pretty cool because as a Sonic fan, I thought that when I read that, I was like, oh man, that's so awesome.
That is cool. That is so cool.
Another one. So one of the co-writers was pushing for a PG-13 rating, which I think if it had been, it might have been a little bit more edgier, and that might have been just a little bit better in my book. However, I still think the direction they took was great, and it is a bit edgy still. Yeah. So they did a good job. So yeah. I get where he was going. Like maybe they wanted to make it a little bit more on the edge. Yeah. And I think that could have produced a little bit different of a movie, especially with Robotnik. Like his character could have been a little bit more villainy. Yeah. Instead of like animate and like a more less animated, I should say.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. It's I wouldn't say it's perfect, if you want to really get it down to, because it isn't a true adaptation of Robotnik. It's, its own version. But I appreciate having its own version too. However, I could see that. Like what you're saying, it would be more edgier and it would probably be a lot closer to the video games if it did that.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So one last fun fact, and you kind of touched on this. So Jim Carrey described his character as a madman and added saying, he's got a 300 IQ, so it took me a week and a half to prepare.
Oh, he has some of the best quotes just in general. Jim Carrey does. That's great. Gotta love that. So,
it's making me tear up a little.
But yeah, this is just a fun movie. It's something I'll just go back to if I were to summarize it. It's impressive what they were able to do, because I think they knew we're not going to make everybody happy with this movie, but we're going to do the best we can. And that comes across. That's kind of how I would summarize it if someone was asking me what kind of movie it is. It's just a fun ride, like we were talking about. Lots of good elements to it. But let's kind of get some feedback. We've talked a little bit about it. Let's see what's going on around the net. We like to see reviews that are out there. So Seth, what kind of reviews are you seeing out there?
So the first review I've got is Ionic Breeze Machine says, while there's not much in the way of surprises, Sonic the Hedgehog will delight both franchise newcomers and seasoned fans. 7 out of 10.
As always, I love the names. That's great. But yeah, very well said. I agree with that. It's just a charming movie, and I think whether you're a Sonic fan or not, you can enjoy this movie. So yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
very good review there. Yeah.
The second one I've got is Basement_Kid said, good for a video game movie, 6 out of 10. Which I don't quite understand. It's good, but it's 6 out of 10. But, whatever.
Are we going back to those ratings again?
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm scared.
At least they said good. The ones that say this is a bad movie and they do 6 out of 10, that throws me for a loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess each person can kind of tweak the rating system. Good to me is 7 out of 10, but 6 is maybe it isn't quite good. Maybe it's above average. Maybe that's what they were trying to say, but I don't know. I can still kind of agree with that in a way.
And the last one I've got is Draw Life says, finally a decent film based off a video game, 6 out of 10.
Okay. So another 6, but they said positive things there, which that's what I would understand. If they said that and gave it like a 4 out of 10, I'd be like, I think we need to send another friendly reminder of rating scales to people.
We need a chart that has like a picture for each one.
Yeah. Your reaction when watching the movie, like here's your face as you're watching the movie, and then line it up with the number. I agree. That might actually work. Who knows? But Well, there you have it. There's some reviews. We're kind of getting an outside perspective, but let's get down to it. Let's see how we're going to rate this one. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts, your review. So I have to ask you, for Sonic the Hedgehog, Seth, are you going to take it home? Are you going to leave it at grandma's? Are you going to hide it in the attic?
Well, as an overview, I'm going to say the humor was wonderful. The animation was good. The voiceover work was fantastic. I enjoyed this quite a bit, but I'm going to leave this one at grandma's house, hoping to revisit it soon.
Okay, very solid there. I agree with all of your statements you said there. The animation's great. The dialogue is great and funny. It's just entertaining. It's a fun, I go back to like a comfort food almost in a way. It's like a nice bowl of macaroni and cheese on a cold day or something. Just warms you up.
If I could just say real quick, I
Yeah.
was surprised at the dialogue. Like the dialogue
Yeah.
really took me for threw me for a loop. I was not expecting the dialogue to be like a strong part of the film,
Yeah.
and it really was.
I would say that's the strength of this movie. You wouldn't think that.
Yeah. And
but-
I was pleasantly surprised. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you jumped in and added to that because I want to stress just how impressed that word jumps out. I was impressed with the dialogue. I was impressed with the animation, especially what it looked like before. And they went back and they really put a lot of effort into this. And with all that said, I'm with you as well. I am going to leave this at grandma's house. I still think it's a good movie, though. Like, it might be one of those, you're over at grandma's house. Yeah, let's watch Sonic. It's a fun movie. I just don't know if it quite gets up to that level of, I want to watch this over and over again. I'm happy to revisit this every once in a while. And when I say every once in a while, maybe it's every month or two or
Yeah.
from time to time. It doesn't have to be a long time, but I just am not quite, it didn't quite hit on everything I would want in a Sonic movie, although it came very close. It was very, very good and can't praise them enough for how much of a good job they do. And like I mentioned, that love of Sonic the Hedgehog, all of the people that were involved, you could tell it comes across in the movie. So hats off to them. I have to say they did such a wonderful job with it. But for now, that's the rating I'm going to give it as well. So we'll both leave it at grandma's for now. So there you have it. That is our review of Sonic the Hedgehog. But before we wrap up, let's make sure we cover our bases. So Seth, where can people find us on our social platforms?
You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can email us at movies@grandmashouse@gmail.com. And we are now on Patreon. So check us out, become a member so that we can stay up to date.
There you go. Yeah, be sure to check us out. And like we said, we're going to be doing the Sonic movies. So we're interested to hear your memories, your thoughts. Be sure to drop us a line, email us, or on all those platforms. Be sure to message us. Let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So that'll do it for now at Grandma's house. But don't worry, we will be back soon to visit. And in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
I just thought you might like a latte with steamed Austrian goat milk. What do I look like, an imbecile? Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them!